Hey guys, I'm going to try to persuade you guys to adopt animals rather than buying them from pet stores. So the issue of my topic, it affects people who are looking into getting a new animal soon, or any animals that are currently in the animal shelter, or any animal in a situation to end up in an animal shelter. So the problem with buying animals from pet stores is that it's way overpriced. If you go to a pet store, like around me, there's a pet store named Pets Pajamas. You're gonna pay a good $400 to maybe over $1,000 for a dog. Now, a lot of people see dogs that they really like and think they're cute. I get it. It's hard to resist buying an animal when they're cute and they're puppies and they're the specific breed that you want. But the reality is, if you find an animal at an animal shelter that's mixed with the breed that you want, you're not only going to give an animal a second chance at life, but you're going to add a furry friend to your home, which you had already intended to do, and you're going to save a lot of money. You may even learn a few things from the animal as well. So, when adopting an animal from an animal shelter, you are going to save hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars. You're going to have to pay a little fee for the animal from the shelter for part of the services done for that animal, but it's not going to be too much, like $400. So, the services that would be coming with the animal would be rabies and distemper vaccines, wellness visits and exams, spaying and neutering for dogs, heartworm tests, flea tick prevention, and for cats, the feline leukemia and FIV test. It's also going to include microchip and deworming. So adopting an animal from a shelter is way more cost effective than going and buying a $1,000 dog from the pet store. But anyways, the most you're going to spend for an animal from a shelter would be about $200, give or take. I have a friend who just recently adopted a Can Corso Aussie mix for $150, only because the dog was a puppy still. They charge like $150 for puppies and like $70 for older dogs over one or something like that. But anyways, he's gonna be big and he's brindle. He was so cute. I got to hold him on the car ride home. And I suggest they had tons of dogs. I suggest if anyone's looking for animals, go to the Twinsburg Humane Society and pick one up because they're cute. And they have cats too, and rabbits. But anyways, the $200 may seem a lot from the shelter, but in reality, I'm gonna break it down for you. So you buy a dog from a pet store with roughly $800, okay? Then you go home and you have to make a vet appointment, which anyways, you're going to have to do that either way. But back to the point, you're going to make that vet appointment to get the dog its shots and tests to make sure it has nothing infectious going on internally. And at that vet appointment, you're going to then discuss with the vet all the vaccines and spaying and neutering, and then get it tested for heartworms, start the dog on flea and tick prevention. And when you adopt an animal, it'll already have all the services done for you. You will just have to keep up with the booster vaccines, like the distemper. I think there's a couple vaccine boosters that you have to get. And then you're going to have to keep up with the flea and tick preventative. So the question here is, why do animals end up in shelters? Well, they end up in shelters because many people are ignorant to what spaying and neutering are. Some people breed animals and have babies to make a profit off selling them. Then there are people that may not have enough money. But in that case, maybe look around for low-cost spaying and neutering clinics. There's one around me also. I actually got my first dog spayed or neutered there. Not spaying and neutering animals causes overpopulation issues. Most people see a kitten or puppy and their heart melts. So they buy or adopt that puppy or kitten when it gets into, and then when it gets into its adult years, they lose interest in it. So they either let it go or they become neglected. Some people even hoard animals, or it's really sad. When authorities usually are tipped off for, there's an abandoned house that has a million animals in it, they go and save the animals and then they end up in the shelters. Abandonment is a big issue too. People, they move, they go places where they can't have animals, they go far distances. It's just a sad, sad situation with that too. So if they can't find a home, anyways, all of these situations lead to animals being put into shelters because they have nowhere else to go. So my solution to this problem is, if I could take every animal into my home, I definitely would, but I do not have a big enough house to do that. So the realistic approach here is to just educate people that saving a life from the shelter is a very rewarding feeling. It not only gives us a morale boost, but it gives the animal a second chance at life. You're not only going to give the animal unconditional love, but you are going to also create a whole new animal. They're going to learn everything that you teach them. And there was recently actually a story I'm going to tell you. There's a shelter. It's the Summit County dog shelter, animal shelter, something like that. Anyways, they had a special, I guess, where they actually adopted all of their animals that could be adopted out, and they were adopting them out for only $10. So $10 for a cat, $10 for a dog. So maybe doing more things like this can help reduce the animal shelters being full all the time, and help people learn, hey, there's an animal shelter, there's animals that need my love and help. And it's just something to get people out and even aware of all the animals that are in the shelters, because I didn't realize how many end up in there until I went with my friend that one day. We went to like 4 different animal shelters, and there were tons. And it's great because we were just at that animal shelter, the Summit County dog shelter, and it was pretty full, and I'm so happy they were all gone. So anyways, I feel very strongly about this topic because I actually adopted two dogs now. I've adopted a dog back when I lived back at home, and it was the best thing ever. I got to ride home. She was sitting in my lap. She was scared for the first couple weeks, but she warmed up to us. Now she's a big sausage dog. I no longer live at home, so I only get to see her periodically. But we got this new dog, and we named her Ginger. She was a mutt dog, but she was the most patient and loving dog ever. Like, you could do anything to her. Not condoning that, but you could do anything to her, and she wouldn't care. She would just let you love her. She would sleep in my bed with me, and she would go everywhere I went. And I also recently adopted another dog at the beginning of this year. His name is Zeke. He's a hound lab mix. He's a big old whopping 80-pound dog who thinks he's the lightest as a feather. But I took him home with me, and he was going to get put down at the shelter that I got him from because he was aggressive. So I stepped up. I'm like, I want to try to save this guy. Every dog deserves a chance, and he's still aggressive. Don't get me wrong, it's scary sometimes to be around him when he is aggressive. He's really aggressive with his food, and I don't know, we haven't figured it out yet, but there's some triggers that he gets set off with, and he just flips the switch, and he's like mean. But we know, my boyfriend and I know when to step away, give him his space. We keep him in his cage whenever he eats, and he's past the aggression. He's the most loving. He loves his belly rubbed. He loves to go outside and eat sticks, and he loves when it's food time. Whenever it's time to eat, he is sitting on the floor waiting for me to put that food down so he can go in his cage and eat. Not all the time. He's not like always aggressive towards me whenever I give him his food, but anyways, we just need to educate people and maybe have more awareness about shelters, and maybe have more sales with the shelters, and to clear those animals out so that those new animals, or those animals that are out in the open, the environments where they could be better in better places, maybe that can open up a door for them to get adopted out. But I'm glad that you guys watched my video, and I hope I persuaded you guys to adopt an animal from a shelter. Adopt, don't shop. And whether or not you agree with me, it's just an all-around great thing. You save money, save an animal, it's all great. Have a great night. Bye.